Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brad Weber with Local Umbrella Media. I'm here with Umbrella Connections from the beautiful IQ Podcast Studios, the Attorney King Studios in Coronado, California. This show is to connect our viewers with some businesses and people in the community that they should know about and maybe they don't know about. So my very special guest today is Miss Derith Mason with Artistic Florals in Normal Heights. Derith, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, full disclosure, I've known Derith for a long time. We used to live in the neighborhood, and I love that neighborhood, and I loved my neighbors, and life is good, but I do miss parts of it, and the neighbors like you were a big part of it.
We miss
So
you,
thanks
too.
for being a great neighbor all these years, first of all. And I've known about Artistic Florals for a long time, but recently, I know in the past you had a location that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you weren't friendly to people walking down the street
Oh,
where they could
it's not
find
that
you.
we weren't friendly. It's
Oh,
just that we
darn it. That's
primarily
terrible.
just did events, and
Exactly.
we were in a location that was more industrial.
Industrial. That's a much better word. You've always been friendly. So now you're friendly always because you're right on Adams Avenue,
We
Normal
are.
Heights, and you just opened in December. Is that correct?
December, yes.
Yeah.
It's our
And
soft
I know,
opening.
like every business opening up, it was a long process getting permits and getting everything remodeled. But I've been there. I went to the soft opening, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
The flowers are beautiful. As a matter of fact, Dareth brought a little bouquet today, and what'd you call it? Just
Designer's choice. It was
Yeah.
something, we just kind of like when you have one thing left over in the cooler, you just kind of pull it all together.
It's like a recipe. An artist can do a lot with a little, and you've done that. So, and they smell great too. So, anyway, we had you featured in the Kensington edition of the newspaper last month, and it was a great article. Got some great feedback from it. So, I want to learn about, your background, why you're a florist, and why you chose this career, and also about what you do, what you're good at, why you love, what your specialties are, and just tell us a little background.
Okay, well, my husband started the company in 1985, so a long
Been
time ago.
around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in 2015, he wanted to kind of segue, not out of it, but he wanted to go back to school and teach.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a business that I was a little, I don't know, wanting to make a shift.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'll come in and help you out a little bit. I didn't realize um, how intense he was going to go back to school. I thought he was going to take a class here and there. And
Right.
he came home and told me he was going to sign up for 18 units, which is a little bit different than taking like a night class here and there. So I kind of jumped right in, and not that I mean, it's flowers, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think if you can get dressed in the morning and match your clothing,
Right.
you kind of know what colors go with what colors.
Yeah. Well, you're
So-
talking to someone that doesn't know how
Oh,
to do
you
that.
have blues on.
Yeah, well,
okay, you're
wear the same
matched.
thing every day, but don't even let me try and design flowers. So not everybody can do this. It does take an artist.
So
Yeah.
but with flowers and greenery and foliage and even some fruit, because these are blackberries right there. Texture is great, so you can pull from all of nature to do flowers, which is the part that I really love.
Well, it's an important thing, and people, especially in urban communities, we forget that nature, and we miss kind of that stuff. I mean, we don't even have that many plants in our house because there's fake plants now and things like that. I live a lot of my life outside as much as I can, so I do get that. But having flowers in your home, or certainly flowers for gifts and events and things like that, it's very important. Not only the prettiness, but the natural. Just being close to nature.
Right. And I think, with for San Diego, especially being a coastal desert, we do have a lot of sage and a lot of those other kinds of plants but getting like a garden flower, like, we can't grow tulips here because you need a hard freeze to grow a tulip. So, or even like any of the bulb flowers, you need a hard freeze. So maybe they might get them, you can grow them maybe in Washington State or Missouri.
Well, speaking of that, I watched, I think it was on the news or somewhere I read about Valentine's Day is coming up. What is today? The 8th. Valentine's Day is Monday. Is that correct?
14th,
Yeah, the 14th is coming up. So don't forget.
No, don't
Artistic Florals. But I was reading that there's a shortage of red roses or swatching or something. Tell us about that.
There is a shortage of all flowers.
Really?
And that happened during the pandemic. Most flowers are not grown here in California. I mean, our land is just too expensive to grow flowers on. All the roses that come from the West Coast come from Ecuador. If you are on the East Coast, or if you're in Europe, most of your flowers, your roses, will come from Ethiopia.
Wow.
Yeah. So so many times all of those countries like Ecuador and Colombia and Mexico, where they do have a lot of flower farms,
Mhm.
those places were impacted by the pandemic just like we were.
So they stopped producing because there was no demand
Well,
at the time, or?
that was part of it, like the peonies, like the big specialty flowers like peonies and that sort of thing. Those people, it was cheaper for them just to plow under so they
Right,
wouldn't have to water.
right,
And their all of their staff and their workers, they got sick or they
right.
didn't want to come in.
Yep.
And so if you don't have something, it's easier and cheaper for them just to plow under.
Yeah.
But for a peony, for example, that takes, a couple of cycles to grow
Okay.
back. And then why would, they're probably thinking, well, gosh, when is this pandemic going to be over?
Right,
And why would we replant?
right.
You know,
And you can't guess because obviously we couldn't guess. A lot of people did guess that it was gone away and then it came back and it's still
correct.
here and stuff like that. So, yeah.
As well as shipping, for example, most pre-pandemic, most flowers were shipped on commercial airlines.
Mhm.
Well, then of course, when travel stopped, um, farmers were thinking, how in the heck am I going to get my flowers to San Diego or to the United States in
Mhm.
general? So what happened was that farmers had to book private planes to come in,
Wow.
and everything has to go through customs. So, like for example, most things that come from Ecuador go into customs in Atlanta or Miami.
Wow.
They have to be checked out, and then they get flown out from the rest of the country from there. So
Things you never think about.
exactly. It's a
Yep.
huge process to
Yep.
get flowers to where they want to go. And
Right.
we're fortunate here in San Diego that we have a flower market, an international flower market in
Mhm.
Carlsbad with probably about, I don't know, about 30 wholesalers.
So there's a huge demand. Okay.
And people come to that Carlsbad market from Palm Springs, LA, Riverside, San
Okay.
Diego. So they kind of, it's kind of like a hub for all these different cities and counties around us.
So we're lucky we're here.
We are so lucky
Yeah.
because I talk to people in North Carolina or Missouri where they have to get everything shipped in and flown
Wow.
in individually from individual, they have to go to
No
individual
kidding.
wholesalers, whereas I have, at my fingertips 30 wholesalers to go to.
Cool. So if you're in North Carolina or somewhere else like that, you better make alternative plans for Valentine's Day out there, guys, because there's not going to be any roses at all for
I'm
you.
sure
So
there's
we're
going to
lucky
be
here.
some, but it's like Christmas. I tell people all
Yep.
the time, if you wait till the last minute for Valentine's Day, it's like shopping at the mall on Christmas Eve at midnight. You'll get something, but you probably won't get the best,
Oh,
or you
gosh.
won't get what you intended to get.
Thanks for the warning. So
Yes,
we'll keep
Brad.
these close. I'm going to put these closer, by the way, so everyone can see them because they're kind of,
You have
they're pretty
freesia
here.
here.
So.
You have spray roses. You
Yeah,
got
they
your mother of
smell
pearl
so good
roses.
too. They're awesome. So is a big part of your business, I know it's a big part is weddings because Patrick and you guys living in the neighborhood, there's always all of us traded favors with each other and I'd walk my neighbor's dog and they'd walk mine and they'd dog sit. And I've worked a wedding for you guys, I know, and I've worked a hotel for you one time. Can't remember what else, not much, but it was
because you
fun.
drove Patrick when he had his knee surgery. You drove him
That's
around.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were so great to do
So
that.
everybody's got to help everybody out. It
Yes.
takes a village, and it was so much fun doing that
It
because
takes a
it's
village to run a flower shop,
and you
essentially.
get back there and you never, I did that in college kind of where I would pick a different job for a couple months and do something. And I know people that have done that for years actually. And it's so enlightening just to learn about what other people do behind the scenes. So it was fun to do a wedding and all that stuff.
It's nice because you really get to learn about that person as an individual because you see them at, in your neighborhood walking like you. I would see you walking your dogs all the time.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know what you did until like I'm here now with the
Right.
podcast. It's like wow, like that's Brad, like 8
Yep.
to 5.
Yep, exactly. We all have our other lives, right?
Right.
So anyway, so beautiful facility on Adams Avenue. What's
Thank
the
you.
address? Tell us the address.
3536 Adams.
Okay, I know it's right across from Pet Me Please because that's where I get my dog food, and it's right next to Subway. There's a Subway there,
There's
right?
a Subway and
landmark?
there's a Ego ID Media.
Okay,
He does printing and that sort of thing.
they've got a big signage on there, but it's
Yeah.
a beautiful shop with a pretty small space. You've done a lot with it,
Thank
with
you.
the cooler and everything. So it's very inviting. So I suggest you, if you're in the neighborhood, go down and see Derith and Patrick or at least Derith. I guess Patrick shows up every now and then. Make sure
when
the doors are
when I
still
need
open.
the muscle,
Okay.
he comes in.
Well, he's got that. So tell us more about, what's the biggest part of your business. It's weddings, I know, but is it retail? What else do you do?
We do a lot of corporate events as well.
Okay.
A lot of events for what we call destination management companies.
Okay.
Which is kind of a fancy word for saying, a big corporate
Okay.
planner.
Right.
That's what they are. Like, for example, we're going out to La Quinta this month, at the end of the month for 4 days to do jobs out there. We go to Santa Barbara, we go to Ojai. So we do travel with
wow.
flowers a lot.
No kidding. It's funny because we're just opening next week. We're doing 50,000 copies in Palm Desert of our newspaper. So we're expanding over there. And I didn't even think about you. I've been asking everybody, you know anybody in Palm Desert? No, I've got a week to get this thing full. So after the show, we'll talk about that. But so day to day, you're in the shop. It's open. What are the hours?
We're open 10 to 4.
10 to 4.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay. So people can come find you there and obviously call you. Or you were telling me about your website you're pretty proud of. You just launched it today,
we just launched
right?
a new website, and it's so beautiful. I'm so excited. Our web designer did a fantastic job.
Good.
So yeah, artisticflorals.com.
I think it's on the screen there, artisticflorals.com.
And you can order online. You can, if you're getting married, you have an inquiry about it, you can always put in your information, and then I'll get right back to you. And
cool.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite flower? I mean,
it changes.
Really?
It changes. It seems like if I'm working with something a lot, or it just changes seasonally, like sometimes, I mean, I do like roses just for the pure fact that there's so many varieties and so many color choices you have with roses. Okay. I do like that.
Good. So this is a good time of year.
I do like protea a lot.
What's protea? I feel so ignorant, but I don't know what
it's a flower that's really South Africa. It's it's grown in South Africa, Australia, all of those kind of same coastal deserty kind of climates that we have here. There's a big protea farm out in Rainbow area.
Okay. And I'll ask this question, but I already know the answer. But if someone calls you up and says, "I have no idea what to do, Derith. I just need to present this gift to someone."
What is your color palette?
Okay.
And what is your price point?
So you're the one to call for that, because you've heard that question many times.
Many times.
Okay.
I hear it probably 3 times a day.
I'm glad to know it's not just me.
And it's not just guys. Women, women go, I don't know what. And I might ask them the occasion. If is it for a birthday? Is it for anniversary? Or, is it for a condolence? In many cultures, colors mean certain things with condolences, especially, or even weddings.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to kind of be in the know for that kind of thing.
Got it. So what's your favorite thing to do? Is it weddings? Is it just people coming in and trying to solve a problem, or not solve a problem, create something special for an occasion individually? Or what's your...
Yeah, I mean, of course, whenever you're a part of someone's wedding day, it usually happens once in a lifetime, hopefully.
Right.
Not always, but hopefully.
What's repeat business for you? So stay close to the divorce attorneys, right?
Stop. Yeah. But and so it's always, you feel really special being a part of some special day.
Yeah.
It's one of these things where, again, and that's probably going to be the most expensive bouquet that woman or that couple ever orders.
It's
and so you want it to be special,
right? And
it's their special day.
Got it.
And so I really take a lot of pride when we deliver a wedding. I just don't throw it at them and take off and take a hike. You want to present a bouquet. You want to show them how to hold it, because most people don't hold a bridal bouquet correctly.
Right.
I always tell people, don't hold it like the Statue of Liberty. You don't, because if you hold it upright, you just see the stems. In fact, we want to tip it a little bit so they see all the flowers.
Well, I never would have thought of that.
No, I mean, and so I want their pictures to look good, and I want all their bridesmaids to be holding it correctly too, because you don't want the one bridesmaids to be holding it incorrectly and have their pictures look all.
Got it. Well, I've been involved in a wedding. I am married, and I know how important that is. And at the time, it wasn't important to me, but I know how important it was, certainly to the bride.
You probably had a beautiful boutonniere.
I'm sure I did. I know how important it is to the family and the guests and all that stuff. So I see it from a different eyes now. And I also, because of the one day I helped you out at a wedding, the feedback I was getting, and I was just the guy there putting flowers out, but they were so impressed with the flowers. And the family was saying, "Oh my gosh, the flowers look so beautiful." So I was like, yeah, that's me, but anyway, so I know what a difference flowers can make to people, and that's a long lasting memory, and you never forget your wedding. And so that I can see why that's kind of a favorite thing to do.
And, and when you, especially like if you're having a nice wedding reception, when people enter into the room, you want to create an experience for them.
Yeah.
And many times I know people are on a smaller budget, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm not going to have anything on the table." And my first thought is, your Aunt Mary flew from, Texas, or people come far and wide to your wedding. And the least you can do is have a beautiful table for them.
Right.
And if it's not, it doesn't have to be some $500, centerpiece on the table, but they should have something.
Right. Yeah. And so they're creating memories. So, right. I was going to ask you about Valentine's Day. Is it too late, or it's
not too late.
Okay.
But I do say I would not wait till the day of.
Okay.
Because let's face it, Valentine's Day is the day after Super Bowl.
Yep.
So don't walk in or call a florist in a panic because you're hungover the day after Super Bowl.
Some of those florists are football fans, by the way, and they're Super Bowl fans that might want to watch the game. So,
so I always say, call, as soon as you can.
Okay. And what's the second biggest day? Is it Easter? After Valentine's Day is the biggest, I assume?
Mother's Day.
Oh, Mother's Day, duh.
And many times, I mean, I know I don't live, or my mom's passed away, but I know I haven't lived close to her for a long time.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of probably consistent with so many people in our country. We kind of grow up, go to college, and move away. And so if you can't be there for your mom, you usually want to send her something.
Right.
And most people send flowers.
Now, do you get into facilitating, like if I want to send flowers to my relatives in Colorado or whatever, can I go through you, or is that not what you guys
can,
really do?
but the best bang for your buck is just to Google wherever your mom's zip code is in
Go
Colorado.
local with the local florist.
Mhm.
So if you're outside the area and someone in San Diego, maybe that's why you're watching, call Artistic Florals and they can deliver. And you do deliver, I assume. I know you do because I've had them delivered. Yeah.
We'll deliver free in 92116.
Okay.
And then there's a minimum of $15 delivery outside that zip code.
Outside of the zip code. Okay. Well, that's a big
But we
zip
delivered
code.
to 60 zip codes in San Diego County.
Great. So what's the future hold? You've just opened. I mean, I assume you plan on being in that location. It's not easy to open a retail location. I've been there, done that. And there's a lot of, again, behind the scenes things that until they've gone through it, they don't know what it's like opening the doors in a business in San Diego, permits and reconstruction and all the other stuff. So you're going to be there for the long haul now.
We plan on it. After my husband and I moved the 9x20 cooler we have,
right,
we looked at each other, we said, never again.
Yeah. Well, you found a great spot for it.
Well,
That's
thanks.
just perfect. It's a perfect fit back there. So anyway, anything else you want to add?
I would just say, don't wait till Monday
it is
for
February
Valentine's
8th
Day.
when you're watching this. So the clock is ticking.
It is.
So you can go on right now onto the website and make an order or ask questions. Correct. Or contact Derith and Artistic Florals in Normal Heights. And I'm a big fan.
Well, thanks.
Had your flowers many times and never disappointed. And I've known lots of people because I'm in the neighborhood that use you, and I've experienced a wedding. So if you're having a wedding, if you're having an event, if you just need to make someone smile, call Artistic Florals in Normal Heights, and Derith will be there to greet you. So that's our show today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks,
I want to take thank our sponsors, Attorney King, of course, Sequan Casino, IB Fitness, and Nikki Rottens, who I was wearing the hat, but I took it off. But Nikki Rottens right downstairs. And that's a wrap. That's Umbrella Connections. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.